All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. It's hard to believe, but it's also not that hard to believe at the same time that Archie Griffin is the only player in the illustrious history of the Heisman Trophy to win the coveted award twice. Griffin did it while playing for Ohio State in 1974 and 1975, as this award is typically given to seniors and juniors who are on their way to the NFL. And, sometimes we've seen guys win it in their last year before departing the collegiate ranks. But in recent history, we've seen the influx of freshmen and sophomores who are going to get more and more playing time in college football. And because of that, in my opinion, it's only a matter of time before we see someone match Griffin's feat. And it could be this year. I say that because last year, as a sophomore, USC quarterback Caleb Williams tore up the Pac 12 conference to the tune of 4,537 passing yards, 42 passing touchdowns, 10 rushing touchdowns, and just 5 interceptions. Williams's exploits helped USC reach the Pac 12 championship game, as their two defeats to Utah were all that prevented them from reaching the college football playoff last year. And even though the teams that are facing Williams now have a year's worth of game tape on him, so far this season, he still has 21 touchdown passes with just one interception. And then you look at his performance today in the 48-41 win for the men of Troy over Colorado, six more touchdowns, and he just threw his first interception of the year. You look at the way that Caleb Williams plays, he's poised in that pocket. He checks all of the boxes for what you'd want in a franchise quarterback in the NFL. I talked about the poise, calm under pressure, knows how to elevate his game when the game is on the line. He has a strong arm. He's accurate. He makes the players around him better. And at the end of the day, he has all of the football intangibles needed to succeed. You think about Williams. He followed Lincoln Riley when he decided to leave Oklahoma in favor of USC. And now Williams is a star in the second largest media market in the United States. And because of that, he's cleaning up right now in the NILs as well. And because of this, Williams has something that many star college football players before him didn't have, which is leverage, because now he can sit back and say, hey, I'm probably going to be the number one pick in next spring's NFL draft. But if I feel that the situation is not right for me, i.e., going to a bad culture and a bad organization, guess what? I could just sit back and say, you know what? I played my senior year at USC. Maybe I decide to not play football at all, take out an insurance policy, and just try to come out for the following year in the draft. He has more leverage and he has more options for him. And, with that said, getting back to his play on the field, to me, he has more than a puncher's chance to win consecutive Heismans, being that the Pac 12 overall is much better than it was last year. So he's going to be facing not only other good football teams that have the ability not only to win the conference, but also possibly get to the college football playoff. He's going to be facing players that are in that conference conversation rather to win the Heisman Trophy, i.e., Bo Nix, the quarterback at Oregon, or Michael Penix Jr., the starting quarterback at Washington. And along with Washington and Oregon, for SC to try to win the Pac 12, they're going to have to go through Utah again, possibly Oregon State, Washington State, and even UCLA. So these are going to be games that are going to be under the microscope, if you will. And of course, when more eyes are watching, they're going to sit back and see what you can and can't do. But make no mistake about it. For Caleb Williams right now and what he's doing, this is a great story for college football. And for me, it would be even better if USC was an East Coast school as opposed to a West Coast school. And I say that because, and this is no disrespect to USC, but you figure tradition, it's up there. Heisman Trophy winners, it's up there. You know, they've got 8. I don't care what anybody says. There's 7 on record. Reggie Bush won the Heisman. He deserves to get it back. That's a whole nother story for another day. But nonetheless, you also look at it like this. A lot of times East Coast bias does play into things, and it's unfortunate for SC and the other West Coast schools, regardless of the sport, especially if their games start late. Now, today was a 12 o'clock start on the East when USC faced Colorado, of course, 9 o'clock on the West Coast. But now more eyes had the opportunity to see what Williams can do on a national stage under the spotlight. And of course, there were a ton of pro scouts at the game today in Boulder to watch Caleb Williams take on Colorado. Also, of course, there were a lot of celebrities there because ever since Deion Sanders has become the head coach of Colorado, he brings a lot of celebrity status with him. But with all of that said, Caleb Williams is a phenomenal college football player. And I think the future is so bright for this young man at the next level. And the question for me is, will Williams join Archie Griffin in that exclusive club? I'll tell you like this. We've seen guys in the past 20 years or so win the Heisman and come back to school for another year. But I don't think we've ever seen a player who has the ability to do it. I mean, before I thought Matt Leinart possibly could have done it for USC in 2005, but then he got beat out by his own teammate in Reggie Bush. Tim Tebow was the first sophomore to win the award in 2007. And he still came back and had phenomenal years in 2008 and 2009, but he fell short. You look at it for Caleb Williams, at some point, if it's not Caleb Williams this year, it's going to be done because just like I mentioned the name of Tim Tebow, before him, it was only juniors and seniors that won that award. It was never a sophomore or a freshman. And Tebow came in as a sophomore and tore it up, and he deserved it. And at the end of the day, come the end of November, if Caleb Williams is still putting up numbers like this, he definitely deserves the opportunity to get the award once again. And I know that some people are going to say that USC's defense has improved from last year to this year, but you look at how they struggled last week against Arizona State. You look at how they struggled in the second half today against Colorado. That means that Caleb Williams is still going to have to put up a lot of big numbers against better teams in order for SC to win. So we could see more performances like we saw today from Caleb Williams. And guess what? That's going to put him right in that mix for another 4,000 plus passing yard season, more than 40 touchdowns, and possibly double digits in rushing touchdowns as well. And when it's all said and done, East Coast to West Coast, it's going to be very hard to deny this young man the opportunity to win consecutive Heismans and join the great Archie Griffin as the only players to do it. But nonetheless, I think players have had the opportunity before to win this award in consecutive years, but I'm really not sure that anybody has had as good of an opportunity that Caleb Williams might have this year. The sky is the limit for this young man. The future is bright, and he could possibly be on the verge of making history this season. So, folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank you for tuning into the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. I want to take this time out to thank all of you fine folks out there for tuning in. And if you have not already, please feel free to subscribe to this channel. Now, if you're on the X, formerly known as Twitter, please feel free to follow me at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you follow me, it will be my pleasure to follow you right back. There's also the sports discussion group on Facebook at the Sports Depot 365. Now, you can check it out, drop a line, and be a part of one of the better sports debating sites going on social media. So, once again, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying take care and have yourselves a wonderful day.